Hello, Jocelyn and I met at Shillington, and while she was in another aisle, I saw this on the end cap, which I thought was kind of funny, because when she was on the other aisle, I was like, I'm going to go find all the Murano, and then I found this glass bowl. Unfortunately, it has a lot of damage to it. I noticed the damage on the bottom of it while I was at the store, and then when I got it home, I noticed that it had a kind of a chip, a smooth chip on there, and then there's a scuff mark there. And then here are some up close details of the bottom. So I'm not sure if I'm going to sell it or not. Maybe if there's interest, I will put it up there. But for now, I'm really not quite sure, just because it has so much damage. I thought this was a pottery piece, but it felt like it was made out of resin. So I decided to put that back. This was an interesting little figurine of a little guy. So I kept him in the glass that he was in. This was the end cap. It was very crowded. I like the colors on this fish dish, but unfortunately it had a big chip, see up there on the upper right corner, so I decided to leave that on the shelf.
Is
it?
I'm not sure. They didn't
Well, you
really...
put a note on it.
Yeah, it's a quotable note.
Cat goes where he pleases and pleases you.
Oh, I see. Now I just can't read. I like it though. It's cute though, right?
Oh my god. That's so heavy. Oh, Jean just made that. Jean just made this in December and she's already donated it to the Goodwill. She's like, nope, not anymore. Machine. That's a cool old sewing machine, a white zigzag sewing machine. How much that is.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't have a price tag. Someone took it off. That's pretty cool. It was very loud, as you can tell. That is why I usually do voiceovers for all of my videos. Then I found this March little boy from Lefton, and I was just at an auction where they had every single month up for auction. So that was neat, seeing all of them in one place. And I knew I already had the March boy. And then I found this hobbyist piece. This is from 1988. That's the mold date on it. And I think it's very sweet. It's very sweetly done. You would have to make sure it was secured because it doesn't really quite hang off a shelf. It's kind of a little too narrow, but I thought that was very sweet, very nicely done. And then you saw this in Jocelyn's video. This was super cool, and I was going to get it. And then I realized he's beheaded, and then next to the beheaded man, there was a lady that was missing. So I thought there was a little bit too much damage to it. It was neat. We both had never seen one before. I was really disappointed. If you were artistic, you could probably fix it and add a head and a lady. But I just felt it was just too much damage. And I'd already bought the too much damage blue bowl. So I moved on to this popcorn trinket dish. It does not have a little trinket in it, but it's very nicely done and closes very nicely. And then I spotted this little girl, and I almost got it. And it wasn't until I got it over in the cart, I realized she had a huge repair to her arm. It was like her arm and shoulder had been repaired. So that was disappointing right there on that side. So I put it back. I was sad. I like those. And then in the artwork, I found this. This is very, very big. This is counter cross stitch on linen, which takes a lot of talent. I will sell this without the frame to save you on shipping costs because it was very heavy. And then I like picking up stained glass pieces, but this, the letters were coming off of it, and it was a garden stake, and it was very long. So I left that there as well. And this was just a plate. Just checking out the plate. You never know. This was for goodies in 1989. Had a very small opening for your goodies. So maybe it was for incense. And I liked this. This is a little wood-turned trinket bowl or dish with a lid. I first needed to know what was in there. Then I decided to get the little bowl. And then I got this for my friend's daughter. She collects dolls, and I sent her a picture, and she said, yes, please get that. So I am going to give that to her. Here we are checking out the rest. I'm going back to the clock. There it is. It was just an alarm clock, little tableside travel clock. And I thought this was neat, but the price was 20 bucks. So that was a fancy purse. And I was seeing, is it a brand name? It didn't seem like a brand name to me, but it had a $20 price tag on it. Here was a souvenir piece from Hawaii. I thought that was neat. I decided to leave that there though. I have a couple Hawaii souvenir things that haven't sold yet, so I'm waiting for those to sell through before I add to my inventory. I don't have a huge amount of room, so I need to make sure I don't buy everything that I look at, even though I do like to look at a lot of stuff. Then this matches the little bear ashtray that I had just gotten. This looked like it was a little lamp. I decided to leave that there, same style that I had just picked up. It was a Jesus plate. And seeing what's down on the bottom shelves. And then I found this cross. I thought this was pretty. Mexican pottery. I like the colors on it. And so I decided to get that. And I just sold one of these paperweights to somebody who used to scuba dive. And now they collect fish things. And so I just sold mine. And so I thought, well, gosh, here's another one. It's a little bit different than the one I just sold. So I decided to get that paperweight. This is a cool looking rabbit with his shades on. And these mugs were nice. And then there was a little hobbyist rabbit. He was cute, but I decided not to buy him. And then I thought sometimes this is really good pottery, and it's marked on the back. I think it's usually out of Connecticut, I think, but it had a big chip on it, and I don't feel it was the brand that I was looking for. And even if it was, it had that big chip, so I didn't buy it. I thought that was a pretty plate. But there was just one. Trying to give you a better look at the shelves. And then Jocelyn had looked at these in another visit to Shillington, and she's like, yep, that's the one where I thought it was Dracula. I could see why she thought that. He had a long coat. It kind of did have that vampire look to it. And then look, these were sold at Jubilee, which is another thrift store that is local to us. And here they were selling them at Goodwill, and I couldn't find a price. I thought that was funny. And then this was pretty. This is very large, though. Still was very nice quality. Make a nice display piece on a coffee table. And there's a fondue set. And then sometimes I pick these up because it's plastic sugar beads, but I didn't pick those up. And I have been known to pick up things just to rescue them. And I thought these still have their legs and arms. I'm rescuing these. And plus they matched my stitchery. So I decided to take the little ballerinas. So they are guarding the cross stitch. And this hobbyist piece was funny. Very bright, very cheery. Different looking. I hadn't seen that before. I guess that's a chicken. And then this unfortunately has some scratches on it. I did like the color though. I do like orange, and it had a chip there. So I left that there. And this was interesting. It was a mug, and then it said South. It was very heavy. Someone had made it. It was a student piece. And the other side said cheer. So it was a cheerleading cup that looked like that. And then this was a neat hobbyist piece. It was very thin. That would have made me nervous to pack that and ship that. But it had a light in it, and it had a little hairline crack. So I just admired it. And then next to it, they had some Halloween ceramic. I think that's a hobbyist piece. And the owl and the pumpkins were probably contemporary store-bought pieces. I thought at first this looked like a yin-yang. And then I picked it up and I thought, well, it kind of still does look like a yin-yang symbol. And then you saw this at Jocelyn's video also, that this was a lid. And I think I thought the same thing, because it was weird how the top had lava and they had it turned over. And then look how scary this would be to ship. Look at that. So thin. It was really neat. I liked it, but it was a little too scary and glassy and sandy to ship. And then usually I don't find the frames for the stitchery kits. I do like selling vintage stitchery kits, and these were just the frames. And I thought about it, but then I thought, no. And then this was a cute little basket, and with Easter coming, it's always nice to pick up little baskets. And let's see, trying to show the shelves, trying to slow down and let you shop too. That's pretty. I like strawberries. I think it's always a bright and cheery and spring, and plus they're delicious. I like to eat strawberries dipped in sour cream and then brown sugar. It's delicious. I've had it since I can remember. I've grown up on that. It is the most amazing taste. And then also if you take a tortilla and put Nutella on it and then slice up strawberries and then roll it up and eat it, oh, it's delicious. You'll thank me later. You're welcome. Now I want some strawberries. Don't think I find anything else here. Little honey jar. Then you need to see what's in the bag. You never know, there might be treasures in there. They look like they were some little Easter bunnies and chicks. And then this could have been a flour shaker or a water shaker or a sugar shaker. Or I would hope it wouldn't be a salt and pepper shaker because the holes were really big. So I'm pretty sure it was for something else. I decided to leave that. And then I wanted to see who made this. This was a home and garden pottery piece. And then there was this guy. Hello. He was $7. He looked like he was keeping the shelf up. And then these are always neat to look at. And I'd never seen a clear glass one before. Usually they have some kind of decorative. That's a food warmer. And then this is a sewing box. This was one of the first things I ever sold, was a wooden sewing box. And I thought this would be cool if you got that lucky bamboo and put it in that vase. And then would be bamboo with a bamboo vase. This looked like Harmony Kingdom for a hot minute, and then I realized this is not Harmony Kingdom, but it had kind of that look of the Harmony Kingdom trinket boxes. And here I saw this, and so did Jocelyn, but unfortunately he was chipped on his ear. It was cute though. And I thought this was interesting. It's a souvenir from Canada. And here we are in the white section. I found a whole bunch of stitchery pieces, so I'm looking through to see if there's anything vintage. I felt these were more contemporary, so I decided to leave those there. And I didn't think that this would be a high seller, so I put them all back. Seeing if there was anything I missed. And I decided to move on after I looked at that ruler. And I have sold this dad mug before, but it took a long time to sell, so I decided to leave that for somebody else. It has a really nice poem on it. They also make one that says Mom, that has a really nice poem. These were pretty. I think I liked them because of the orange. It's Corel. And then above it, there was this vintage atomizer that was in the box, which was kind of neat. So there you had the whole shebang there with the original box. It's always fun to find original boxes for things. It looked intimidating though. I wouldn't want to use it. And here we are finishing out the white section. This coffee pot looked like a coffee pot that I had recently sold. I was seeing if it was the same brand, and then it looked like they had the cups to this coffee pot there. So you could have gotten the set. And then we decided to go look in the blankets after I looked at this swan. And I found this beautiful wall hanging of tumbling blocks. and I decided to take that with me. It had a little bit of schmutz there, but it came right off. And then in the toy section was this hand-painted, handmade doll, and my aunt makes things like this, and I could tell this was high quality. It does have a signature on the back of it by the artist, but I thought that was beautiful, so I decided to take the doll with me. And then I thought this was funny. This was a pound puppy, but I felt it was more modern because it had batteries. And then I caught up with Jocelyn, and she was checking out the candles.
I said I wasn't going to buy any more candles, but I'm over here like,
What does it smell like?
it smells good.
Oh, that does smell good.
Isn't it? And it's not even used.
It smells clean. You should get it. Here is everything that I picked up on our trip to Shillington Goodwill. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see ya.